Hello, and welcome back to episode 6 of my driver career mode. Now, to start off this video, you can see we had 3 upgrades come through. 2 in the engine side and 2 in aerodynamics, although one of our aerodynamics upgrades actually failed. I believe it is the rear downforce, so most likely we are going to have to repurchase that. As just going through the upgrades here, trying to see what we can upgrade. There you go, we have the failed front downforce, which for Spain probably would have been quite useful, but we are going to get it for next race in Monaco, where that front downforce is going to be absolutely crucial. Now, skipping ahead a bit in the timeline here, we're going to get some more weekly resources, and I believe we are going to be getting, as we get 2 chassis upgrades, I believe one for weight redistribution and one for weight reduction. As now we are going to try and see if we can put a minor tire wear upgrade onto the car. But for now, that is all the admin-y stuff at the start of the video done, as let's get into qualifying. Now, starting our first lap here, Spain probably, it's not my best track, but it's not my worst track either. We've got a time trial set up with a bit of reduced wings to try and get that straight line speed, as we found out that most circuits we need straight line speed, as we are going to set at 1:21.57, and Verstappen may have had a little incident behind an Aston Martin, because he was being an annoying prick and sitting behind me all lap. And at the end of the lap, he was right behind me. I took my opportunity, and we took Verstappen out of qualifying. Now, second lap here, we are going to try and push as hard as we can, as we're going to come across the line with a 1.1 second gain, which is going to get us into, I believe that is P19, which is not the best. Oh no, it's P18, sorry, P18. As now, atrocious qualifying for us. We're going to finish in P20. Yeah, I just couldn't get a lap hooked up together at the end. It felt really weird. But for now, we can't really do anything about our qualifying. Yeah, it was in the middle sector. I said I'd taken off wings for downforce. No, wings for straight line speed. That's why you take wings off. And it just didn't work. And now, another thing that I thought might have affected our qualifying was the fact that our gearbox was getting quite warm. So I decided to swap that out. We're in P20 anyway. Any penalties that come towards us aren't going to affect us, but let's get into this race.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula 1 calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat out this weekend. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Sainz, George Russell and Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas, Joe, Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, Albon, Sebastian Vettel and Nicholas Latifi, Verstappen and the engineer. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Natalie Pinkham. Now our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get a clean start. And this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space. And finding your braking point into turn 1 as well is testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Okay guys, so end of the formation lap here. We got our tyres not very heated up. Our front tyres are still blue and our rear right is completely frozen. But we can't do anything about that now. We are lining up P20 on the grid as it's lights out and away we go for the Spanish Grand Prix in 2022. We get a pretty bad shaky start, but Verstappen is stuck behind our teammate as we're going to go for a dive up the inside, controlled braking through that corner. We're going to try and squeeze him out on the inside and then try and get him on the inside line, but he just has so much more downforce and so much more speed than us. He manages to get us back on the outside. Now later on in the lap we get back up his inside and we now are focused set on Vettel and Albon, who are fighting ahead. Vettel trying to go down the inside of Albon. Albon holding it in as that corner becomes the inside. And now up to this corner, we had so much trouble going through that corner on the first lap. I'm hoping it's just going to be heavy fuel loads stopping us getting through that corner, because that is a major like speed corner if you don't get it right. But now on the back of Sebastian Vettel, trying to see if we can shape for a move anywhere on the track. Not looking that hopeful at the moment, as I believe that is Schumacher and Gasly that are going to come into the pits early for a stop. Schumacher and Gasly falling down the order in the tower on the top right, as Verstappen, the superior straight line speed of that Red Bull, is going to try and go up our inside. We brake as late as possible. We need to stay ahead of him because we need to keep on the back of Sebastian Vettel. If Verstappen gets ahead of us, if he fights us a lot, if he slows down, we are going to lose the back of Sebastian Vettel. As there are cars fighting ahead of us, this is our opportunity to close up. Vettel hits Albon. Albon getting a bit crossed up on the corner exit. But for now, we need to just get on the back of them. Braking as late as possible, trying to get on the back of Albon. Also, while trying not to use as much ERS as possible. Verstappen behind us is on the hard tyres. So that is where we're going to have a slight tyre advantage in these first few laps. But he has a major car advantage over us. But for now, trying to get past Alex Albon. Latifi and Vettel are fighting ahead as they are slowing us down. We are dropping back from, I believe that is the Haas of Kevin Magnussen ahead, as Alex Albon is now our main kind of reference for braking at this point, as I don't want to break my wing, but I also don't want to fall too far back. As that corner there, you can really see the complete lack of downforce that we have in these corners is actually kind of insane. But now you see how much we're gaining on the straight, how much of a straight line speed advantage that we have on the straights, as Vettel and Latifi are fighting once again. This may allow Albon to try and get his nose in up the inside of our teammate. But now lap 4, start of lap 5, we now have the DRS. We have a superior straight line speed setup, which means we're going to go for the dive into turn 1, trying to keep it on our outside. Alex Albon tries to get back up on our outside. We squeeze him out, try and keep him around the outside, as he actually is going to stay ahead out of that sequence of corners. But we're going to go for it again, braking as late as we can, trying to get ahead of him, as we are ahead of him out of that long 180 degree. I don't want to call it a hairpin because I don't think it is, but that long 180 degree right-hander. As now onto lap 6, Verstappen is right on our tail. He has DRS. He has a superior car. He is going to sail past us on the inside, as he actually goes really slowly through that corner. We hit the back of him there, as at the point in time that really annoyed me, because he lost us so much time to Latifi, and I believe Vettel's ahead of Latifi. Yeah, Vettel's ahead of Latifi. because that lost us so much time. But we can't think about that now, as now on to lap 8, we have DRS from Latifi, but Alex Albon is going to have the superior straight line speed at the start of this, but we pull back through as we have a higher top speed because of our setup, which does compromise us in the middle section, which to be honest is really hurting us at this point in time. We don't want to be battling with these Williams. We want to be where Vettel is, kind of in the middle of the Williams and then the next cars in front, because yeah, our car shouldn't be fighting with Williams at where we are. I mean, we are the closest car to them, but that's just, it's not good really. As for now, trying to pass Nicholas Latifi is our main priority at the moment. As you can see through this corner, that corner is supposed to be flat out if we had the right downforce on. You see, we had to fully lift and then kind of half get on the throttle to actually get around that corner without running wide. And that, at this point, I'm thinking we've made a horrendous mistake on this setup. We have way too much straight line speed for the straight and way too little downforce for the tight, twisty middle sectors. But for now, we are going to get DRS on Nicholas Latifi onto the start of lap 10 here. Can we get past him? We know we have the superior straight line speed. This is our main overtaking opportunity on the track, but he is going to stay ahead and survive for one more lap here. Trying to stay on the back of him though. You can see we're having to lift off so much through what should be, with this kind of upgraded car, flat out corners. And this is just where we were losing so much time. The Williams were clearly on a lot higher downforce package than us. As at this point I'm thinking, what upgrades have they brought in over the season? I'm going to assume quite a few downforce upgrades, unless maybe engine power upgrades and drag reduction like we have. So they have the advantage in the corners and we have the advantage on the straights. So at this point I'm thinking maybe where the horrendous setup mistakes we've made, we're quite even. But for now, ERS deployed, start of lap 11 rather. We are going to get past Nicholas Latifi in pure straight line speed, not having to outbrake him or anything, just cover him off, and we are passed into P16. As now onto lap 12, Alex Albon is going to try and fight us at the end of that DRS straight there, but we are going to stay ahead of the Williams for this point. Our tyres are looking pretty worn at this point, as I believe our pit window is the end of lap 14, the optimal pit window for us. But for now, I believe we are going to have the Williams of Alex Albon directly on the back of us. He has the straight line speed. We're not using any ERS, as we are going to go 3 wide into the first corner. We get outbroke by Albon and Latifi as well, squeezing Latifi out. He hits us in our side pod. Luckily, no damage for us. We are on simulation damage, so we were very lucky not to get hit in that scenario. As now Alex Albon has about a 7/10 gap on us. We need to grind that gap down, try and get a lot closer to Alex Albon here, as we have a slight moment on the exit of the corner, deploying our battery, braking as late as possible so that we get the corner as fast as we can and not run wide. As once again through the section, fully lifting off here. That corner's flat out. If I had the right setup on, that corner could have been flat out. As now onto lap 14, we have lost the DRS to Alex Albon, but his teammate Nicholas Latifi behind still has it on us. Now this is a huge problem, as we really need to get the DRS off him, as we do, but he comes into the pits, so this is going to be the last opportunity in this stint for DRS for us, as at the end of lap 15 we are going to come into the pits to get rid of these old medium compound tyres and fit the hard compound tyres. Now you may be thinking at this point, why didn't I adjust the front wing up? Because I've been complaining this whole time about not having enough downforce, as for some reason we couldn't get the car started out of the pits. But at this point I didn't want to get the balance wrong and have a really weak rear end with a really strong front end, and maybe get a bit of, I don't actually know what we get, probably oversteer. Yeah, strong front end, kind of turning in too sharply in the rear, not being able to keep up with the front and spinning out. As now we are, as you can see, coming out the pits, we were quite far behind Alex Albon. He has undercut us by about 1.8 seconds, and now with cold tires we are just not able to keep up with him, as we have a mistake coming through that corner, and Nicholas Latifi is going to get ahead of us up into P18. We try and get back of him, almost hitting his gearbox and diffuser with our front wing. Very lucky to still have our front wing on, but for now we have DRS. And if you look behind us, Pierre Gasly has joined the fray. The AlphaTauri is still behind us, so we know we need a gap between us, as Nicholas Latifi locks the rear right brakes, and we are packed through for P17. But now we have no one ahead of us to give us DRS, and Pierre Gasly has DRS off of us. He's going to try and go around the outside into the long left-hander here. Can he keep it out? No, we're going to stay ahead for this part of the track. He has a superior package to us. Can we get through? No, not can we get through. Can we stay ahead? Will Pierre Gasly be able to get through from us? We know from Australia we can defend, but right now we still have about 70% battery, so we should be able to utilize that ERS. But he has the DRS, as he's going to pull alongside us. We disable the overtake button. We don't want to drain our battery fighting for a lost cause. He brakes really late. We brake early, trying to play it cautious, but he just has the better downforce, getting that traction down so much earlier, getting the power down, and through the corner he just has so much more downforce. And now our main goal is just to stick with the rear end of Pierre Gasly, trying to stay with him. But now lap 21 we lose the DRS from Pierre Gasly, and now as you can see on the timing tower, a second and a half behind us is the Haas of Mick Schumacher. And now end of lap 21, start of lap 22, he is less than 2 tenths behind us. He has the DRS on us. He is going to go on side by side with Mick Schumacher into turn 1. We have used so much of our battery trying to stay with Pierre Gasly, as it's just not happening. The cars around us have so much better downforce than us, as we just can't keep up with the Haas and the AlphaTauri. Likewise, we did actually lose quite a lot of time to Alex Albon as well. As you can see, he's around 7.8 seconds ahead of us, as this is just not ideal for us. You can see we're struggling to get around these corners with the tyre wear. Bit shaky coming up to the chicane. As now on to the end of lap 23, we decide that we are going to pit to give ourselves some more downforce, to try and change the front wing. Well, not change the front wing, put the front wing up, as we're going to set new soft compound tyres onto the car, just to see what could have been if we had the right downforce levels on the car. Good stop from us, 2.3 seconds. Good stop from the pit crew, as now we are actually going to be lapped by the race leaders, who I believe it's Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen. Don't quote me on that, but I will find it out. As we get blue flags for, I believe that's Lewis Hamilton up ahead. As now Perez actually comes out the pits ahead of us, so we do get a tiny bit of DRS off of him. But for now, lap 27, yellow flags ahead, as there is a Ferrari slow and there's smoke out of the back of this car. He absolutely destroys the distance markers, but the championship leader Charles Leclerc, for the second race in a row, is going to DNF from an engine failure. As now, at this point in the race, our race is kind of done. We are going to get ahead of Charles Leclerc, who lapped us before. But for now, we are going to get a tiny bit of DRS, so I believe that's Perez ahead, which honestly surprised me. We were on softs, so we did have a slight tire advantage, but Perez had just come out the pits. So I'm not sure, as we let Fernando Alonso through on that lap. But now on the end of, at the start of lap 31, we are going to try and unlap ourselves from Fernando Alonso. There was no one around him. I just wanted to fight with him for no reason, as we let him through into that DRS straight. As now onto the last lap of the race. Not going to make any progress, as we are going to come home in P19. A bit of a spin on the end, just for a bit of flourish, as we come home for P19, which, to be honest, is our worst result so far. Max Verstappen is driver of the day, and yeah, just not a good race from us.
A real team effort then, which has paid off in spades. A great victory here at the Spanish Grand Prix. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we could talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those that we've witnessed today.
Well, guys, thank you for watching. I don't know what's happening here, but Carlos Sainz is going to win his home race for the Spanish Grand Prix. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. We're going to try and get to 500 subscribers by the end of 2023. We just about met our goal for last year on the very last day of the year. But for now, if you've enjoyed, I will hope to see you guys next time for the Monaco Grand Prix, the bane of my existence. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.